Important truths you must know about marriage to be effective in it. Part 1. Hello everyone, you are welcome back to our channel. My name is Franklin from Couples Talk. If this is your first time coming to this channel, please consider subscribing because, in this channel, we talk about marriage, love, relationships, and everything in between. Don't forget to click on the notification bell so that the next time I post a new video you will be the first to receive it. In today's video, I am going to be talking about important truths you need to know about marriage to be effective in your marital home. The objective of this video is to wake you up to the realities that you need to come to terms with if you are going to be effective in your marriage or planning to get married. Over the years I have discovered that many people got into marriage without fully understanding what to expect and what is expected of them, so in the long run, they started finding it difficult to cope because they weren't ready. So, without further ado, let's get started. This is part 1 of the series. Truth number 1, marriage requires commitment. This is one truth you must know about marriage that will help you win if you are already in it or planning to get into it. You can't do much in marriage if you are not willing to commit to it. You must understand that marriage requires your time, efforts, and focus. You need to be able to have time for your spouse, home, and kids if you have them already. Sometimes, I see people who want to get married but they are not willing to be committed to it. They want to be one leg in and one leg out. It won't work that way. A marriage that would works by the commitment, and there is no shortcut to it. You might say, but why? Because you are building a family here and generations depend on it. However, if that is going to happen, your commitment is a must. Marriages don't work on its own, it has to be worked out by the two people involved, and that only happens through deep and continuous commitment. So, if you are married or planning to get married, be willing to commit to it knowing very well that your commitment is the key to experiencing a flourishing marriage. Truth number 2, marriage requires you to take responsibility. Again, this is another wonderful truth you must know about marriage. Until and unless you become responsible in and towards your marriage, you can never be effective in it. The success you will enjoy in your marriage is completely dependent on how willing you are able to take responsibility for your marriage. As a matter of fact, it is how responsible you are in your marriage that helps the marriage to make progress. I have seen cases where people get married, and one party is not willing to take responsibility or be responsible. Such marriages always end up having multiple problems. So, if you are going to avoid this, you have to take responsibility in your marriage and fulfill your responsibilities towards your spouse, to your children and your home. Do your part as a partner in the marriage and do it gracefully, not grudgingly. I know that sometimes, these responsibilities can be very demanding, but if you have settled it in your mind that this is now your life, everything will surely go on smoothly and it will not be a burden to you. When you approach your marriage like this, you will always be effective and happy in your marriage. And your spouse will be a happy person. Truth number 3, marriages requires patience. As long as the marriage is concerned, if you are going to be effective and last in marriage, you must be patient. Now, when I mean patience, I mean you have to exercise patience at all times because you will experience a lot of things that would make you lose your patience. Funny enough, this patience is at different levels. When there are no kids, the patience you have to exercise will be with your spouse, in-laws, and maybe friends. But when kids start arriving, you will have to move to the next level of patience because there is so much you will have to endure. So, patience is a virtue you have to cultivate. So, if you are married and listening to me right now, make a conscious decision to endure at all times. Learn to overlook certain things, because if you don't, that impatience could lead to a situation you may not be able to handle. Your patience preserves your marriage and causes peace to reign in your home. Your patience also helps you to be lovable and gives room for your spouse to be able to live with you. If you are unmarried right now and listening to me, you have to be willing to endure if you want to be married and stay married. The reason is that you will experience so many things that will test your patience, but when you understand this truth about marriage, you will not be perturbed. Truth number 4, marriage requires teamwork. This is another very important truth about marriage. In fact, the whole essence of marriage is all about having a partner that you both can travel through life planning together and living your lives together. If that is going to happen, teamwork is highly needed. There is no marriage that can stand if it is only one person that is putting in all the efforts. Marriage only works when two people are working it together. So, if you are going to be effective in your marriage, you must choose to be a team player, not sometimes but all the time. You must make a conscious decision to stand by your spouse and build together, no matter the odds. Your teamwork is what guarantees that come what may, the marriage will still stand. One of the reasons there are so many divorce cases today is because the principle of teamwork was no longer followed. So, I encourage you to be a team player in all areas of your marriage. You can't fulfill your part as a team player and be unhappy in your marriage. It is not possible. You might say, but what if my partner is not a team player and does not care about teamwork? Well, that is possible, but that is where you need to pray and also present the matter before your spouse so that you guys can talk about it. You don't have to fight over it. It is something that diplomacy and prayers can handle. Because in the long run, it takes to build a home and raise a family. Although the enemy will stop at nothing to make sure he brings division in your home, if you guys can maintain that agreement and work as a team, no matter the wind and the storm that blows, you will still remain standing and effective in your marriage. Truth number 5, marriage requires accountability. This is yet another important truth you need to know about marriage if you are going to be effective in it. There are so many married folks today who don't know that they have to be accountable in their marriage. They just believe that they can do whatever they like with or without their spouse's consent. But it doesn't work that day. If you truly want to be effective in your marriage, you must learn accountability. As a wife, you have to be accountable to your husband, and as a husband, you have to be accountable to your wife. Meaning, you owe your spouse an explanation for every move you want to make. I know this might not go down well with some people, but that is just the truth. If you both say you love each other and are living together, you owe it to each other to let each other in on whatever you do or about to do. From investment to purchase of any valuables, you must learn to let your spouse in on all such decisions and activities. Some men would say, "Why should I tell my wife everything I want to do? That is plain weakness." Well, my friend, that is not weakness, it is called accountability and humility. Updating your spouse on your next move or purchase does not reduce you as a man or a woman, it only makes your spouse have so much respect for you. It's hard to believe, but that is the truth. When you see marriages where they are always fighting, you will be shocked that part of the reasons why they do that is because of the lack of accountability. Refuse to let that happen in your marriage. Train yourselves to be accountable to each other, at least to a reasonable extent. As a man, you might say, but if I allow my wife to know everything, she may start taking advantage of the fact that I am opening up. Well, that cannot be ruled out, but don't think like that, because being accountable to your spouse is part of being responsible in your marriage, and it is also the marital rights of your spouse. So, don't think like that, and if you are a wife and you are listening to me right now, refuse to be that wife who takes advantage of your husband's sincerity towards you, because it is in your best interest. The day he finds out that you are taking advantage of him, you will break his trust and sincerity towards you and start keeping things from you. So be open to your husband as your husband is open to you. I know some people will want to argue with this truth, but no matter the argument, I still believe that accountability is of utmost importance in your marriage. It helps you to build a solid marriage. It helps you trust your spouse, and most importantly, it teaches your child the importance of accountability as well. Therefore, I admonish you to take this word seriously. Don't let anything or anybody deceive you into thinking that it is wrong to be accountable. It is a foundation that holds a marriage strong. If it is established in your marriage, you can be sure to have peace for the most part of your married life. So, learn to tell your spouse where you are going to or where you have been. Learn to inform your spouse about any decisions you want to make. Learn to tell your spouse about the phone calls you may have received. Be free to allow your spouse to go through your phone or your Facebook account. Be an open book. Remember, it is not policing as many would call it, it is accountability. Alright, that will be all for this video. Do watch out for the next part. If you have gotten value from it, don't forget to like the video, drop me a comment and share with your married friends who need to hear these words. Also, my new book Marriage Made Easy will be coming out in a couple of days. This is one book that will speak to you and your partner in ways you never imagined. If you are interested in getting the book, do send me an email at couplestock1@gmail.com so that when the book is out, we will inform you via email on how you can purchase the book. If you have questions or something you would like me to talk about, kindly send me an email at couplestock1@gmail.com and I will be happy to talk about it. Until I speak to you again, keep basking in marital bliss. God bless you.